Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be going over my September TBR. I previously had a TBR game where I would draw a prompt and I would fit it with the books that I have available to me. But over time I have found that this TBR game just doesn't really work for me. I don't really have an extensive physical TBR, and it just doesn't really fit my needs. The way that this TBR is going to work is I have a spreadsheet of all of my Kindle Unlimited books, all of my unread Kindle books, and all of my physical unread books, and they are in a chart, in a spreadsheet, and I will be doing a random number generator to figure out what books I'm going to read off that list. So I will show you what I have right here. In addition to that, I have an entire stack of library books that I would like to get to as well. So we will start with my library books and then we will do my Kindle books. So the book that I am currently reading is You Love Me. This is the third book in the You series, and I am 204 pages in and I am absolutely loving this. Obviously, I can't give you like a full-on synopsis because this is the third book in the series, but I am really enjoying this, and if you are interested in the series, if you like the series at all, I would recommend you pick it up. I am enjoying myself. So then I have an entire stack of library books left that I want to get to. The first library book is The Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book in the Dagobah trilogy. I read the first one a while ago, gave it 5 stars, and I attempted to read this and ultimately ended up DNFing it. But I'm in a fantasy mood, so hopefully I will enjoy this. This is essentially a Middle Eastern inspired adult fantasy series about a girl who accidentally summons a djinn using some powers that she doesn't even really know that she has, and she ends up summoning a djinn who takes her to this city. I don't remember what the city is called, but it's a lot of political moves, some magic, a lot of stuff. The first one ended very interestingly, and I'm excited to get into this one. I know there's like a 5-year gap and I need to reread the ending of the first one to kind of like remember what happened, and then I'm excited to get into this. So next up is a new to me fantasy series that I have heard good things about, and I might be like 2 or 3 years late to the party, but is The Queen of the Tearling. This sounds as if it's about a girl named Kelsey who is currently sequestered away, it says, in a cottage deep in the woods. And when a bunch of the Queen's guards come to take her back to the castle, she has to, I'm assuming, take up her role as queen. I've heard fantastic things about this. This seems to be a very well-loved fantasy series, so I'm excited to get my thoughts on it as well. Next up, we have The Good Sister. This is a thriller or a mystery or something along those lines, and it has a very vague synopsis, but it's basically about this woman who has a twin, and she has the opportunity to have a child for her sister who is unable to, and it uncovers some dark secrets. I've also not heard much about this, but what I have heard is very good things, so we'll see. Next up is another fantasy series of Red Rising. I have heard also great things about this. This is like, I think Mina reads, she loves this fantasy series. I've heard it gets worse as the series goes on, but I'm excited. It's basically about Darrow, who lives in a caste system made of colors, and he is a red, which is the lower caste system, and he has to infiltrate the upper castes, the upper colors, and I believe there is some sort of school element or something like that involved. Then we have The Last Wish, which is a Witcher book, and it is a anthology set, I believe, a series of short stories following and introducing Geralt and all of that. I've heard the book series is not great. I've heard there's a lot of misogyny and things in this, but I love the show and the games, the video games, so I'm excited to give this a shot. And then we have an OG fantasy series that every adult fantasy lover loves. So that is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which is The Eye of the World. So this is about Rand, who his village gets attacked after a mysterious woman shows up, and she claims that she is a magician who can wield the one power. And after the attack, they are forced to flee, and in his escape, he will face the Dark One, and who is the most powerful force of evil in the universe. I have heard very mixed things about this. People either seem to love it or hate it, and I'm hoping that I will be a lover, even though this is like 16 books or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. And then the last library book that I have for you is probably the one I am most concerned about because I have not had a great experience with this author previously, but that is Middlegame by Seanan Mcguire. This is about Roger and Dodger, who are twins, and I believe they are experiments. One of them is a prodigy in math and one is a prodigy in language, and I think they are not all human. I think they're experiments or something along those lines. There's a play on time, all of that. So I'm excited to see how I feel about this. I know there is going to be a second book in the series sometime, so we'll see how I feel about that. All right, so let's go on to the Kindle Unlimited books that I have available. I currently have 14 checked out unread, so we will do a number between 1 and 14. Den of Vipers, which is a book that I am currently reading. I was reading it for the Dark Romance Readathon, and I ended up stopping it. I still have a good 50% left. I guess I'll be returning to that. It's basically a dark reverse harem, and she ends up in the beginning getting kidnapped because her dad sold her to these group of men that she was indebted to, and she gets kidnapped, but she is very much like a pick-me girl, edgy for no reason, so we will see how that goes. I was enjoying it. It's very, very gruesome, and it's very sexy, but it is just really long. It's like 600 pages, so it was just too long for the amount of enjoyment from it that I thought I was going to get, but I wanted to give it a shot and possibly finish it anyways, so I'm going to be finishing it. I'm going to read 2 Kindle Unlimited books, and then I'm going to read 5 of the books off my Kindle that I own, and then I will roll to see how many physical books from my collection I'm going to read. So let's do another random number generator. The Heir. This is the first book in the Kingmaker series, which is a companion book to the Brutal Birthright, and I'm super excited to get to this book. It is a new adult, I believe they're in college, and it is a mafia, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. I don't know the premise. I think it might just be a regular enemies to lovers, but I'm super excited to get into this series, so I'm very excited to have rolled that one. Den of Vipers, I'm less excited about, but it's fine. I now am going to roll for Kindle books. Ooh, this is the second book in the I don't know what the series is called, but the first one I really enjoyed. This is the second book in the Wraith Kings series by Grace Draven. I read and loved Radiance. It is a super sweet friends to lovers, and this is a continuation of that. I don't really recall how the first one ended, so I'm gonna have to do a recap of the first one to read this one, but I am very excited. The first one, it's basically 2 people who have an arranged marriage to kind of bring their races together, and they slowly develop feelings. It is a very sweet slow burn. They are even different races and they find each other hideous. They don't like really anything to do with each other, and as their friendship grows, their feelings for each other grow and their attraction grows, and it's very sweet. So that is my first one. Okay, so this one is the first in the Twisted Hearts series. The first one, she goes to a nightclub and she leaves with 2 guys, and they have a previous sexual relationship, and she joins them in a menage, and one is a prince and one is his bodyguard, and they end up having, like, they end up, you know, wanting to continue their relationship with her. So that is also a good pick. Next up, we will pick 3 more, which is a steamy small town romance. It's the first book in the Little Sky Romance series. So it sounds as if it's about a small town journalist who gets an exclusive piece with a CEO who is attempting to develop her town, and in exchange for her babysitting or helping with his rebellious teenage sister. And it sounds like they're probably going to have very conflicting personalities. so that should be cute. It basically just sounds like a book about familial love. It's a sister and her 3 brothers, and their mother is gone and their father is an alcoholic, and it sounds like there is a storm, like a tornado or something, brewing about to hit their town, and it's the lead up to that storm. We'll see how that goes. I like that. All right, and then we have, so this says, Morella wants to be a normal college student, but she's far from normal. Since she was born, her mother has been hiding the truth. Morella is a descendant of a powerful bloodline that spans centuries, a bloodline that gives her an uncontrollable 6th sense. Masked men desire her blood. Strangers long for her to join their cause, and a gorgeous man with a magic of his own seeks to forge a forbidden bond between them. For Morella, there is no escape. Bodies surface and killers run rampant as her people are hunted and slaughtered. Morella is the only one who can save them. Trapped in a life she doesn't want, Morella must find the strength to summon the power inside of her or risk the extinction of her kind. An exciting and heart-stopping urban fantasy novel. Heartseeker is blah, 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 blah. So, we'll see how that one goes. And then our last pick is going to be Bakeries and Bones, which I think is a cozy mystery. I do this thing where I follow a bunch of cozy mystery YouTubers, and then they recommend books that are on KU, and I go and I get them, or they're free on Kindle and I go and I get them, and then I never read them. And so I would like to get into cozy mysteries. I would like to just see if they are even something that I would be interested in. So this will be my first step. So it is the prequel to the Westford Bay B&B Cozy Mystery series. And it basically just sounds like she is engaged and she's living the idyllic life, and then she finds a letter that turns her world upside down. So, sounds super cute. That is it for the Kindle books. Now let's look at the physical books that I'm going to read. So between 6 and 33. So a lot of these are part of a series, like the whole series itself is unread, or like I have the unread books in that series on my unread shelf. So if I get a book that's like the 3rd in the series, but I haven't read the 2nd one, then I'll read the 2nd one. Okay, so the first physical book that I got for my TBR is King Arthur and His Knights, a story of King Arthur and his knights. This is a little over 600 pages, and I think it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the story of King Arthur and his knights. It's 2 volumes of this author's retellings of classic Arthurian legends, published in 1903 and 1905. So it is the stories of King Arthur and his knights and the story of the champions of the Round Table. So I will probably read one of them and then do the other part later, depending on how much it is, how dense it is, all of that. So that will be on the TBR. So for the next one, I have Birthday Shot by Rilsey Adams. This is a short novella. It is 173 pages, and this is one of the only Rilsey Adams that I haven't read yet. And it is about Shay Abbott and her brother's best friend, and he returns for her brother's engagement party, and the interest between them sparks. And it looks like they have birthday sex. So I got The Hero of Ages, which is the last book in the Mistborn trilogy, and I haven't read the 2nd one yet. So we are going to be reading the 2nd book in the Mistborn trilogy, which is The Well of Ascension. I can't really read you the synopsis because it's obviously spoilers for the first one. But we will be reading this one as well. We'll see how that goes. So that is it for my TBR. A lot less romance than I would hope for, but I am still in a fantasy mood, hence all of these library books, and I do have some library books still checked out as well that I will be getting to, like audiobooks and stuff, that I will be getting to throughout the month, but these are going to be the things that I focus on. So leave your thoughts down below on any of the books that I talked about in this video, or the books that you're going to be reading for September. If you have a good idea of like a TBR game that I could do, like someone that you've seen that does it or something like that, leave that down in the comments. I am looking for something new. So that is going to be it, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching.